Right, we were up to Reish Ayin Vav Sif Beis, and Sif Aleph we discussed that it's also to get hana for any malacha a goy does for a Jew. It's a very, you have to wait Kadesh Yasa after Shabbos to get hana from the malacha. And like I said, the shaila of being Meramis and all these things and whatever is a different issue. It's in a case where it is, we'll see, it's a tzarech, it is mutter. When it is mutter to get hana, then there's a different issue of amira la'akol, how you should say it. Yisrael ve'enam Yehudim she'esei v'yachav edlikun eni Yehudim there. They're both sitting together. I'm going to turn the light on. Na'imrov enam Yehudim. Right? If he's sitting in a place, he turns it on for, and most of the people sitting there are not Jewish, so then it's okay. Yisrael or feel mechza also, because then we say that it's also for Yisrael, and therefore it's also to get hanaf. Yesh hochacha shelatzarech any Yehudim adlika. It's clear that it was for a goy non-Jew who that he lit it. He asked him. Or for whatever reason, it's obvious that you see he's the one really, he's the only one reading. Everyone's sitting and talking, and it's also it's a little bit dark, whatever they can see, but he needs to read, so it's obvious. That would be Yisrael mutter. Then it's mutter. Some say this is the minhag that depends on, we'll see. That's mutter to tell a goy to go ahead and to turn the light on for the Suda Shabbos if it's in the dark, or light a candle. The mutter amir lein Yehudi afilu malacha gemura b'makom mitzvah. This shita saran that it's mutter to go ahead and to ask goy to do malacha b'makom mitzvah, meaning to shvus. It's a shvus makom mitzvah. There's nothing amir la'akom makom in a makom mitzvah. Shalpi zeh nagu ravi lahokel b'davar l'tavos in Yehudi lahadik deiros tzarich suda. Right? They tell the non-Jew to go ahead and to light, turn the light on, or let's say that air conditioners we'll get to. The prat b'sudas hasna mila. You shouldn't say anything. So the Ramah qualifies this. It's not just any Suda Shabbos. It has to be more of a tzarech gadol than the stam tzarech mitzvah. That's one sheet. We don't only know that sheet. There has to be that it's there's a stronger need for tzarchi rabbi and things like that. However, a place can cholki al sfarazu.
So shul's lights the time switch doesn't come on, and it's dark in the shul and the dark.
So that l'chorif the shita would be at the mavar the actual halacha l'maisa. I don't want to take this as a psak, but l'chorif that would be okay. But I'd have to. In the actual psak, you have to ask around b'shaita, because sometimes it's not these things are a little bit in the gray area. I know by air conditioner on, it sort of depends. We'll see about air conditioner in a minute. Listen, the Mishabur brings the shla, who's machmer, even the tzarech gadol. So, like I said, these things are a little bit unclear. Tzarech gadol, obviously we're going to get to next couple siman about the tzarech roila and things like that, but that's a different thing. So the tzarech rabim is more, like I said, it would be more the issue, or some other big tzarech, I don't know, it's fia inyan. If a person tells his Eved or his Shifcha to come with him, and this is where I guess they're not have a Kani, where they're not Chiva mitzvahs, I don't know. Like, listen, we got to go outside tonight and light the Nair. Even though it's also for them because they need to be able to walk. It's not called tzorich of the goy. Even ikar alicha b'shvil yisrael. He's okay, come along, you have to come with me. Right? Now, it could be, I don't know if we're talking dafka, the shifcha, or an eved, that they're in the sense they're chayiv to go with him. It could be stam his neighbor, and he's not chayiv, he agrees, I don't know, I'm not sure. But the point over here is that since he was the gorim, so then that's why he says, well, I didn't tell him to let, whatever, that's for instance, or he went into a dark room, and there was a guy there, and he turns the light on for him and walks out. It's for him, even though I didn't tell him to turn the light on, but that's the reason he turned the light on, because he walked into a dark room. However, you are allowed to tell a goy that to take, listen, I need you to come with me, and to take a nair which is already lit. He's only taking in davar muktzah. Now, two choshev things that come out of this din is one, that you're telling a goy to carry something muktzah is okay. That's okay. Two is that there's no psikresha by a goy. You can tell a goy to do a psikresha. For instance, over here, that he's carrying the nair, and it could be the shaky of it is going to go ahead and make it burn more, or kibbutz, whatever it is. Afal PK, we say it's mutter, because we hold that here, and also we have the Mishnah Gimel, so that tell a goy to do a psikresha, that would be okay. There's no Isra Reveal La'achum by Sikresha, therefore like opening a fridge, something like that would be okay. If there's light, he turns the second light on. As long as the first light is on, you can use the other light, because he's not getting straight hana from that. But if the first candle goes out, or the first light gets turned off, whatever, then he can't use the other light. Like if he adds shemen to a ne'er, it's hard to really be mitzamtem, but obviously if you have very little in there and you filled it up, so you have an idea that there was a difference. But whatever. However, if you're sitting in the dark and a guy comes to turn the light on for you, you have to be meichel. Say, hey, don't do that. I don't want you to do it. If he does, you don't have to leave. But I don't want to sit in the dark. Yeah, you can sit in the dark. It turns the light. You don't have to leave, but you belong to your meichel to show that you didn't want to. And I don't know if you need to jump up and, hold his hand down. No, scream him. You have to make him a cha. So then it's not until he wants to do it because he feels bad for you. You're supposed to get on off from that. But artzas karos muter lein Yehudi lasas v'dura b'shvil ktanim. You could, in the cold climates, and then it's cold outside, even if it's a warm climate, but, Shabbos, how cold, you can go ahead and have a go turn the heat on, make a medura. Then, because Ktanim, we said before, didn't have a choli shein bo sakana, that comes to anything. So, then the Gdolim can have enough in the heat also. If you're talking about, you're talking about below zero and things like that, Fahrenheit, which would, whatever, it's, you're talking 20 below Celsius, something like that, you're talking very, very cold, then, some even say it's like when what's it called, freeze, someone told me that, their grandmother grew up in Russia, and, they would pour in the house, they had a little bit of heat, they would pour like a cup of tea, and the bottom would start freezing already as they were drinking the tea. So, yeah, it's cold. Or like my father grew up in Winnipeg, and said that the people, you walk through the streets, their tears freeze and their eyes freeze open. We're talking about very cold places. Then it's mutter to go ahead and turn the heat. Have a go turn the heat. Shakol cholim eitzel akor. That's a person can get sick. Look how Yisam Hanogin Heter al pish she'el akor gadol yamahu. Oh, it's a bit cold, it's a bit chilly. Obviously we're talking about the zaken. You have to turn the heat on. Like I said, there is a shayla about how cold it has to be. It has to be cold enough the person can, get sick, not just, if you put a scarf and a sweater on, you can't turn the heat on. But if it's at the point where even then it's cold, then you probably be able to do it. About air conditioners, so some people say that, there's some that say, well, it's only done by core, because you can get sick, you can freeze, chas v'shalom. But, by heat, yeah, it's hard to breathe, it's hot, it's boiling, you can't think, but it's tsar. It's not mutter to go ahead and have a goy do malacha, tsar. It's not choyli. Some say that's the same, if it's really, really hot, then it could be it's the same din. It's a bit of a machlokes, so therefore by turning air conditioners on, the halacha is much more complex. It's not like turning a light on. It's much more complex. Again, these things are gray areas, and if it's, if there's different shitas, who's he called here? He calls the, it really gets into about electricity. We'll see in a minute about electricity, and is it, is it in lachal deraisa, lachal derabbanan, shvus v'shvus. There's a lot of things. Only if it's like mamish, it's mamish, very, very hot. It could be, people are fainting. It could be, it's okay. Maybe we should just go home. I don't know. It's unclear. Yeah, and then he should learn the halachas very well, so to really know how to pass it. This is a time like grama of kibbutz there. Now these first two sifim are actually one of the most nogea and complex shilas in Yomi nowadays when it comes to electronic stuff, electricity, all these types of things. So let's see, ner shmunach achari hadelas. All right, and there, which is sitting behind the door. Also liftoach hadelas. It's also to open the door kedarko. We'll see what that means in a minute. Shemi yichabenu haruach, because maybe the pashtus is when you open the door, the wind will come in and blow the candles out. Avalino ladelas kenegdo mutter. However, to go ahead and to close it, even though now you're closing the door, now it's going to have less oxygen to go ahead and to light it, make it go out faster. But kibu is okay. Ruadim b'chalon shekeneged hanesh al shulchan. It's the same din. Just has to be careful not to open it if it's windy. We'll see about windy in a second. But if it's just to open it to get a breeze. If it's set in the wall behind the door, also liftoach hadelas unalo kedarko. You can't open the door and open it completely. Shemet tachas hadelas no keshes alavus rabena. Maybe under the door, I guess lean the door up against the thing. It blocks the air. It could be that will put it out. And the poseach v'no b'nachas. Don't fling it open and then it's going to cause a draft. Open it carefully so it doesn't put it out. If it's in the door itself, by you opening the door, it's going to go ahead and make it burn brighter or something. Also, then you can't even open the door. Because there it's not, the oil's not sloppy, you're not worried, obviously you can't just open it fast, like I said before, and I put it out, but you can at least open the door. You see space also. Also, liftoach hadelas keneged hamadura. It's also to open the door neged hamadura. She kreivik sasa el has to be close to the door. Even if it's just a regular normal breeze, because with the madura a little bit of extra breeze will make it burn brighter. But you might have to connect mutter l'sagro. You're allowed to close it. That's not called mechabe. So the different, this is a very complex sifim. The issues over here are that when you open the door and then the wind comes in, it's a psikresha. It's going to blow the candle out. Now, if we're talking about the discussion about if it's Rosh Hashanah Mitzuya, you open the door, it's a windy day. Now, obviously, if it's a windy day and you open the door, it's you're pashut your chayiv. The issue is if it's Rosh Hashanah Mitzuya, so by the Madura, we said that's a problem. The question is by an air, can you open the door if it's just a Rosh Hashanah Mitzuya, it's more of a suffix sikresha. so then it might be okay. There's a bit of a machlokes with that. When it comes to what's this thing with Kedarko and the Ramah, so the Rav Gilman says it's Tal Sefer. It's not true. And therefore, it's also any time to open. It's also if you know that the ruach is going to come in, because it might start blowing, then you can't open it up. The Ramah passes, so if you open it carefully, then you'd be allowed to, because it's not a ruach she'eino mitzvah. Then you're letting it blowing carefully. Now Shulchan says that the Rivash. This is a Shitas, Rashi, whatever. The Rivash actually is Masbir. He says that Kedarko means, because we're talking about understood the case is that it was behind the door. When the Ramah, the sheet of the Ramah is quoting is where the Nair is behind the door. So therefore, if you fling it open, it's gonna go out. Orach Chaim says there's all these different cheetahs. Everyone agrees that if it's a psik reisha, if the thing's going to go out by you opening the door, then it's also. If you open it carefully, and therefore in the situation where you can open it and it won't go out, so then you can do it carefully, then that's okay. Now, when it comes to the issues of opening a fridge door, a lot of different shilas which come out of here, which are very nogea. I'll discuss just a few of them quickly, just to bring them up. There's reams and reams of Torah written about it. You can look in the different svarim, but like I said, first of all, opening the fridge door, olive with the light goes on, right? So that's just like having the nair in the door itself, and you open it, and so the oil shakes and makes it burn brighter. It's the same thing. You open it, the light turns on. There's even the Shita, I forget who the quote says that it could be even more than psik reisha. Opening the door, the light's going to turn on. It's kili, you're turning the light on by it's a straight malacha. It's not even a psik reisha. But Al Kapaner, I think generally we hold it's a psik reisha, and therefore there are poskim who taka say an interesting heter that a person stuck. Which is not to be samichan, it's only, it could be to a couple of asiyachid, I'm not sure, that a person stuck, he can go ahead and open the fridge, with his eyes closed, so doesn't get hana from the light, take out whatever he wants, so because he's not getting hana, and machu mitzvah, and you can take something out. However, I haven't seen anyone who actually do that in the Maisa, but b'rayon, that would be mutter. And now also the other thing is about, nowadays they have all these sensors in the fridges and stuff and alarms, and it gets a lot more complicated than when we were younger, it was just a light. So, it's fine. They say you tape the light doesn't go on. But without a Shabbos setting, so you have other things. You have counters that it checks how much time the door, sometimes the door opens up. You have different things that check, there's a whole lot of different sensors and things. Now, Bigadol sensors is not a light, so therefore it's definitely more kal, and you get into the shilas of electricity. And the Chazon Ish who says it's boine, but most people aren't knowing that the Chazon Ish that's considered that you're completing a circuit, that's considered boine. However, Rechosh for the Chazon Ish, Shabbos Zalman, he had letters back and forth with the Chazon Ish. He held it's havara. It's lighting a fire in a certain way. But that's only if you see a light. If you don't see a light, then things are more makel. However, they're still over here. And if there's sensors and things, you really need to get some sort of ken or some sort of mahadran setting or something on the fridge. Or if you have a good repairman who can tell you what's going on in the fridge. Things like that, so then if it's okay to open it or not. It could be from tzarech chayle and the klachariya. Okay, they have to ask a Rav that there's a problem. Better to have a goy open it, because like I said before, a goy can open a psik reisha. He not do miralakum. And the other different issue is also what about what about sensors? Door sensors. What about like walking through an electric door, or there's video cameras. So walking through an electric door, obviously that would be a problem, because psik reisha to dichale, you want to go through the door. But like a video camera, like a security camera, there used to be a problem when there was actual film of ksiva, and you would go in front of the camera, there'd be a problem of that it's actually being kaisid. Nowadays it's just a digital image or anything, closed circuit, whatever it is. So then the malacha is much less. There's not no ksiva over here. It's a child being put electricity, and if you don't even realize it's there, you don't have to start looking around every second and avoid it. You can walk normally. It's misasek. You're not doing anything, and better, and you don't even know it's there. That's okay. Shiloh about walking through the street, the lights turn on. Here it's not so common. In America or Chutzlaretz, it's happens every Shabbos. Until you figure out where. So there are. So the pashas is that if you know where the light is and you walk and you walk by and it turns on, so you should try to avoid it. However, there are shita. Vozer says that I've heard the Shimon Eider held that. Some say Shulchan Miller also in Toronto also hold that if you're walking, you're not doing a malacha. What malacha are you doing? You're just walking down the street. Just walking down the street, you're not doing an actual maisa malacha. Rav Gilman said that you're not. It's not an ifsik ratio. It's not a malacha. In order for there to be a, you have to do actual maisa malacha. Walking is not a maisa malacha. No, but opening the door is. You're doing. I've also thought about that, but he brings the Rashba by. He brings the Rashba by Tzeda. We'll get to it. It says that they're talking about closing the door and locking it with the animal inside. So, you're just closing the door. There's a malacha with that. But walking, he says walking, there's no real malacha with that. So, there are yesh matirim. Again, to be samach on it, yesh ladun, if you're bacham tzarech, like I said, then, again, but obviously it's better to go ahead and to try and to avoid it. But you don't have to walk in the middle of the street to avoid, maybe you'll turn a light on. That you don't have to do. And there's one more issue about the gram kibui and gram whatever, about all these, grama switches and grama things on Shabbos. I mean, when they say this grama switch came out a number of years, I don't know how many years ago it was, 5, 6, 7 years ago, whatever, Rebelsky wrote a tshuva, and he said, the problem is the idea of Nefesh Machshavos. And if you do something that, and the outcome is what you want, just in the middle is a whole bunch of different, it's like if you ever played the game Mousetrap, I don't know, if you played the game Mousetrap when I was a kid, is that you flip the thing here and it knocks the ball down and eventually the trap goes down. You want the trap to go down, right? I mean, it doesn't always work. A lot of times it messes up in the middle. But Al-Quran, it was clearly the body going to work and you want the trap to go down. So even though, what did I do? This, that doesn't make a difference. That's called Melechus Machshavos and that's called a Malacha. There are other reasons why that wouldn't work, and there are shilas, all these like dramas in the hospital, and the different places came hold. It is good, not good. A lot of places came and say Makom Choili, Mifapik on it. The Lemaises with all these dramas and things. If it's motor, if it's Pikuach Nefesh, you don't have to just straight. You can do Malacha straight. You don't have to start trying to remind to grab a gram of this and a gram of that and whatever. To go to shul is a whole complicated thing. Okay, you have to ask a Pesach. Fine. Gimel, finish this. Shachach, ner ala tavla. You forgot the candle on a tray. Menar setava hu neifel. I don't know if we're talking about your wife's big tall candlesticks that will fall on the floor. Very good. She won't be so happy about that. Everybody have a small tea light there, right? So after it finishes, right? Don't burn your table. Wait till it finishes. You can shake it off. Even if it's doilig, I mean, okay, you can pour it on the floor. I don't know. We're actually having l'chaboisa. As long as you have l'chaboisa, you can shake it off. And then also doesn't become a basis because he did it by mistake. He left it there by mistake. But it's better if it's lit to go ahead. If it's just muktzah, you can shake it off. But if it's lit, then wait for a goy to do it. That's talking about a candle. You have a tea light. If it's tach Hashem in there, but trying to shake it off, it's going to move the oil to the psila. And then they have a problem. It's mavir. And if you put it on there on purpose, also nara, because you turn the tablet, the tray into a basis davar also, pirish davar noisi davar acher, targum es kanoi, yerash besise. It's a base, we call a base, right? That, and then it becomes a base for muktzah, and it itself becomes muktzah, davar also. You're allowed to touch the tray. You're allowed to touch it because that's not metaltal in there. Or the shemut liga v'nayar shebesek knesses. There's no isser negia by muktzah. Isser is to move it, to pick it up. But you can also touch a muktzah thing. You can touch a cart, things like that. As long as you don't make it move, then you're okay. Mutter lahaniach ner shel Shabbos v'yom agav ilan liyadlik sham b'Shabbos. You're allowed to hang a candle or a lantern or something on the tree before Shabbos, and it should be lit on Shabbos. You're going to take it off the tree. You're not worried you're going to go ahead and climb up the tree to take it off. But in there of Yom you shouldn't hang on the tree. The shakal l'manach le'v'nim mishtamish b'ila, because then you'll be then if you understand by Shabbos it's muktzah. Yom Tov, I know I want to light it again, so you might come to go ahead and climb on the tree. Which, and again, it's a chiddush because it's like it's shvus to shvus. But Rav Gilman, a lot of things in Hilchos Shabbos is that they say that it's all one gzeira. Right? Everything is not. There's a certain chomer we don't play with the thing of to the rabbanon and things like that. Don't really go into it. The whole Shabbos is a different rules. Mutter lichbois kara gabe haner v'Shabbos. Let's say the fire is going a little bit out of control, and you shouldn't put a bowl over it because it's going to put it out. Elamai, you have to leave a little bit of air in there because it's like the case of the tanur an earlier simani, and if you shut the door of the tanur, so then you're closing off the air, the oxygen, and it's mechaber mamish because you're taking the fuel away. If you cut the oxygen off, it goes out. So you're taking the fuel away. This is also why that's the thing that comes to one last thing with the fridge is the thermostat. That's one thing I forgot to mention is machlokes about a thermostat. Let's say a fridge without problem with lights, any other problems with sensors. What about a thermostat or an oven with a thermostat, something like that, or the air conditioner? Are you allowed to open the door? So that's the thing is that depends if you understand that the avir, the air that goes in is like fuel, which is gorim it to turn on, something like that makes it hotter, something like that. Then there's a problem. Shlomo Zalman has understood that is in a long tshuva. And I think most people knowing, a lot of people knowing like that, more the hakel that he held that it's not. He said, first of all, that since the fridge goes on and off regularly, so unless I guess if you keep the door open for a very long time, for sure it's going to turn it on. Here it's a stuff like maybe it's going to go on in a second anyway. You don't know. So therefore, when you open it up, the fact that air blows in is not. He says you're allowed to do it. He says, "Kedai la'achmir if you can, whatever." Chazanish was machmir. The brief of Moshe who was machmir also, but I'd have to see the tshuva inside because you have to know what kind of fridge he was talking about and what the Metzias was when he wrote the tshuva. No, not everything people quote from Moshe is clear. So if you to ask for David, about what his father really meant. That's like the same idea over here that you're taking that whether air is considered fuel or not, or cause garim, things like that.
Here's mutter to put it.
Here, if you put a bowl over the fire, it's going to go out. That's also, it's not called gram kivoy, it's straight putting it out. If you leave a bit of air, you prop it up a little bit or something like that to stop it from, right, you're right, sorry, 1 second. Okay, right, sorry. I think this is a different sif. Because this is the Chalas Nefashos over here, so you're allowed to.
So where's the case here? That it's mutter to put the...
Sorry, I apologize. It's mutter to put it's mutter to put something over to block it, If you know that it's going to go out, it's a different thing. But if it's going to catch, if you're going to catch on the thing, you're allowed to put it. It's a ground kivui. Sorry about that. I thinking something different. But if you're worried, mamash sakon stafashas, then you can put whatever. And if you're not worried about it, then it's also. If you're worried that it's going to catch on the korah, then you're allowed to do it because it's a gram kivui. It's like putting the water around for the fire to spill over. Like you put a plastic cup and it burns the cup through and the water spills. It's the same. That's the same heter. If you're worried about it, whatever. Mamash things mamash catch on fire. That's the kind of stafashos. But if it's time, you want to whatever. There are different reasons why you want the light. You don't want to have the light in the room. So then putting it over there, then put it out, that would be aser. Yeah.
In this case, the Shabbat says you have to leave it a little air. You have to leave it the very last Shabbat, the last line.
He says, no, that's not the case where B'shul Shekosh Le'enav or Yinacher. That's, here we're talking about a case where it's going to catch, you're catching your curtains on fire, chas v'shalom, things like that. Here they're talking about a case, like I said, you don't want the light in the room. You want in your bedroom, you want to, there's a light on, you want to, there's a candle on, you want to cover it. So then you cover, but you have to leave some air. Here, if you're worried that it's going to get to a sakana, then it's a ground kivu and you're allowed to put it to separate it.
I have your illustrations.
Okay, no, the Seder, fine. You can look that up, whatever, fine. Alright, so